Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. I'm just going to do a quick review on this new rifle that I got. This is a Mossberg MVP Predator, and this one's in 308 or 7.62 by 51 NATO. And I actually got this gun from Walmart, believe it or not. I was working one night and I was covering the sporting goods counter, and I was going through the special order book, and I came across the Mossberg MVP series, and I saw how much they cost, and I was like, huh, that's actually a pretty good deal. Now, I had to special order it. I special ordered it. I actually placed the order last Friday. And then I went and picked it up today, or actually I picked it up yesterday rather. And the way I paid for this was I sold two of my guns. I sold my my Maverick 88 shotgun. I sold that to Wolf Commando 95 for $200, and then I sold my Henry to some guy. I don't know, a few towns over for $225. I wanted to get more, but he was the only one that was really close by that was interested in buying it, so I just went for it. So anyway, that's $425, plus one of my friends gave me $80 to help do something at her house. Plus I took some money out. So anyway, I had $535 to spend. Now, I got the scoped model, and in the book, the non-scoped models were like 550 something, and the scoped models were marked at 582. Well, somewhere along the line, when they punched the price for this particular gun in the system, they put it as $528. If you can see that. So that's like, what, $54 less than what the gun is actually worth. Plus, I got a 10% discount because I work at Walmart. On top of that, so I got this before taxes. It was like less than $100. It was like $100 or more less than what it's actually worth. So before taxes, and keep in mind, I also bought this on top of the guns. So these are shotgun fiber optic sights. These are for something else that I'm going to show you later on. And those were $14, so add those on top of that. And before taxes, it was $487.77. After taxes, the total was $530.21. Not sure how good that shows up on there, but anyway. Tax and all, between the gun and the fiber optic sights, I only had to pay $530.21. Now that was an awesome deal because I got the gun and the scope, and the gun itself was worth at least $550. Now they retail for like $750 something, the scoped models at least. So that's an awesome deal. And also previously I got 5 boxes of this ZQI ammunition, so I have 100 rounds of 7.62 by 51 at $10 a box. That's a pretty good price. That's the cheapest 308 7.62 by 51 that I've come across, and it's probably the cheapest out there unless you go with like steel case, but I don't recommend steel. So anyway, that's how much I paid for the gun. Now let's actually look at the gun itself. Again, I got the Predator model, so it comes with this gray laminated wood stock, which is really nice. It has stippling instead of checkering, which You know, I think I prefer checkering, but whatever. This doesn't seem like it has as much traction to me. And it's a nice, thick stock. It's a really chunky stock. And it has a 20-inch fluted barrel. I really wanted to get the 18.5-inch barrel, but those were out of stock. But, 20 inches is okay. Has a very nice recoil pad with the triangular cutouts here. Sling swivels. And, of course, the scope. It just comes with a generic 3 to 9 by 40 power, nothing special. The difference between the scoped model and the non-scoped model in reality is only like between $35 and $40 difference, which, you can't even buy a scope for that amount of money, a decent scope, and plus it comes with, the rings and it's already installed and all that, which is awesome. Now, the reason I bought this gun, for two reasons. Number one, 308 is a good long distance round for hunting. The furthest I would ever probably shoot a deer at would be like 300 yards. In my 30-30, with the ammunition that I use, it's not really going to be very accurate at 300 yards. So I wanted bolt action, and I went with this one, the 308. The second reason I got this gun was because I think that this gun, not just necessarily this model, but the MVP series in general, makes an awesome prepping bolt action. Now, if you know anything about the MVP series, they come in 223, 5.56, and then the 7.62 by 51 308. And the 5.56 version uses AR-15 magazines. The 7.62 by 51 version uses AR-10, the DPMS style AR-10 magazines, and it also takes the M1A magazines. Now you're probably wondering why or how it can even do that. Well, it's because they have a patented system in here for locking the magazine in, and it has two lockup areas. So this magazine is like a combination between the AR-10 and the M1A, and it has two different mag catches on it. One in the front, which is where the M1A mag would be, and one on the side, which is where the AR-10 mag catch would be. So it has two different mag catches. Also has a spot in the back of the mag well for this ridge here for the M1A magazines. So it just the fact that it can use those two different types of magazines makes this an awesome prepping rifle, because magazines are very readily available and they're very common to come by. It makes a great backup to either your AR-10 or your M1A, because obviously it uses the same magazines. And as long as the gun can function great, as long as it can function, this would make the ultimate prepping bolt action rifle, in my opinion. And now, is it the best quality? Is it like a Remington 700 or a Winchester Model 70? No. This is a budget bolt action gun, but because it uses these magazines, that gives it an awesome advantage. So, if you're a prepper and you're on a budget, you can pick one of these up like $600. That's an awesome, prepping bolt action. If you need something for long distance, this is a great option. You shoot your 10 rounds, pull the mag out, put another mag in, and you can put 15, 20, 25 round. I'm not sure if they make 30 round magazines for the M1A or AR-10. The highest I've come across is 25. They might make 30 rounders, But I don't know. I'm personally going to stick with 10 rounders. And at some point, I'm going to do like a magazine comparison and a testing video where I try, like I have a bunch of different magazines that I want to see if I can test out in this gun, so I'll have to get all those magazines. But let's just look at this magazine here. I think I really like this magazine. I actually contacted Mossberg and asked them if they were going to sell these magazines, and they haven't gotten back to me yet. It's only been like a day, so but anyway, like I said, this one has it has both mag catches, has a yellow follower. I think it's anti-tilt, but I'm not really sure. I haven't taken it apart. And it has 2 witness holes on the side marked with 5 and 10 round intervals. So if you have it loaded up to 10, you can look in there. If you see your follower, you know you got 10 rounds, and you know if you have between 5 and 10, it'll show up at the 5 mark. So it's a really good magazine. It's metal. Now some of the MVP guns come with a P-mag, which is fine too, I guess. But like I said, there are all types of different options for magazines out there. You know, you have Pro Mag, Checkmate. There's I think it's ACS or ASE, P-mags. You know, there's just a bunch of different magazines out there. Of course, there's DPMS and Springfield Armory. You know, I've got like I think 7 mags that I want to try and get and test through this rifle. Being that it's a bolt-action rifle, it's not going to really matter as much with the semi-automatic, you know, if the magazine is good quality or not, is because it's a manually operated system. Alright, so a few other things with this rifle. First of all, I haven't shown you that it's unloaded. So as you can see there, it's unloaded. Safety's right here, which is pretty typical on most bolt actions. Red dot for fire, and covered up, that's safe. Has a spiral fluted bolt, which I guess reduces weight and reduces lockup, you know, for opening the action. Trying to make sure I get this all on camera. And it has this lightning bolt trigger. I forget what they call this. I'll probably annotate it. But it's adjustable, I think. I probably won't personally adjust it, but and I'm not really one to actually like complain or you know, say anything about triggers, but for somebody who likes a good, you know, light trigger, this is probably, you know, good for them because it doesn't really have that much of a trigger pull. Me, I personally don't necessarily care if it's an extremely light trigger pull or a medium trigger pull. I only really care if it's a heavy trigger pull because that's just annoying. But, you know, I don't really complain that much about triggers or you know, talk about triggers that much because I'm not a precision shooter. I am a hunter and a plinker. You know, I do a lot of shooting for fun. But anyway, I think that's all I really have to say about this gun. You know, obviously I'll do shooting videos with it, maybe hunting videos. We'll see about that. But anyway, Mossberg MVP, haven't tried it out yet, but so far so good. I think it, you know, as long as it functions okay, then I think it'll be a good rifle. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm RedneckMini14, and until next time, be safe.